Hello and welcome back to another Barn Automotive YouTube video. And the goal for today is to have the 6-point exterior roll cage fitted to the car along with the wide body arch spats. The cage is going to take me a little while because there are a lot of reinforcement plates and brackets, and you can see I've already prepped here and here where they need to go, and those areas need cutting out. The front is going to take a little while as the fender needs to come off, prep some brackets at the bottom to go to the chassis bars, and then cut the top plate out as well. So it's not a quick job, and essentially it's just like a big piece of adult Lego. So there will be some scratching heads and figuring out today, but objective by the end of the day, have both these things on the car. So that you can see exactly what it is I'm fitting. This is just a support bracket that goes on the inside of the flatbed. And then from this piece down, there is another bracket. This goes under the flatbed and to the rear cross member, so that you have all the support for the rear section of the cage. And then it's nice and strong. So this in the flatbed, this underneath, and the hole that I've just cut there is to allow this to bolt to the frame, to the roll cage on the outside of the car. And that is all I can do on that one for now. I will need to wait until I have someone here later on to give me a hand so that I can hold this underneath, and then they can thread the bolt through the top, because it's impossible to get up underneath where you need to be and have a hand in over the top. On the list is this one here. So same again, I have to cut this out with the grinder, and then exact same method, just a slightly different bracket. This one sits on the inside, then it's got these that another bracket comes off and bolts it to the frame on the inside, and then the blank plate goes on the outside also to keep it in place until I'm ready to put the rear section of the cage on. That is that piece. Once I have everything, all the brackets fitted in place, I will then go around afterwards when I remove the blank facing to fit the cage, and then seal everything off with sealant to stop any water getting in when it rains, because you are essentially opening the car up to that. So we'll seal it off properly, and then there's also a rubber seal that sits around the plate for the bars, so then we're double safe. I don't just want to leave it with the rubber seal because you still have the potential for it to leak, so we'll seal it from the inside and the outside. So now that I've done the two on this side, I'll go around the other side, do the two on that side, and then they say you should fit it from the front back, but then I need to fit the front mounts as well, and that means I have to remove the fenders, and we'll get there. But what I'm going to do is then fit the rear part of the cage first, just because I can't wait to see how it looks with the loop on this rear part here. This is the part, in my opinion, that looks the best. So once I've done the other side, I'm just going to do that, and then if I have to remove it, I have to remove it.
Now I know I said I'm going to be installing the wide body arch spats also, but I am going to leave them off the car because I'm worried about damaging them with moving it around and the engine install. So they will be installed at a later date.
Okay, so that is the rear section of the roll cage fitted up. It's only loosely on. Now I'll move on to the front section. I'm going to do it slightly differently to how they said in the instructions because that was a long-winded way. There's definitely an easier way to do it. So we will fit the top bar up and then drill the holes through the holes on the cage because the stencil that they tell you to do doesn't line up perfect. So then you have to trim and adjust it a bit more, which is extra work. So I think if we do it this way, it will make it quicker and easier. Yeah. Both sides are now fitted to the Defender. So now I have the lower and upper window struts to do and then 2 roof bars to do. And then that is it, finished and on the car, and we can move on to the wide body arches. Before that, I'll have a clear up because I've made a pretty big mess. And yeah, so we're almost done. So for now, I'm gonna leave the lower one off because it just brings that like firewall 10 centimeters further out than it is. So when I'm putting the engine in at the top and the transmission, it's actually gonna be a little bit easier and I'm not gonna damage it if it's not there. So I will leave that until after. That is it for the cage install on the Defender. Now it is only on the car kind of loosely because it will probably be being removed again when we come to doing the respray work. But I don't think the entire cage will need removing because we're not respraying the entire car. It is only to fix some minor cosmetic issues. I also installed the spotlights on the front, which I didn't show you any of that because it is literally just bolting them in place. It's not really interesting to watch. And for the cabling, when I remove this front section, I will change it so it runs into the bar so that you don't see any wiring or have cable ties anywhere. So that will come later. But if you have any questions on the install, drop them below. And also, what would you like to see next? Now I can either show you stripping of the interior or we can move directly on to the LS engine install as I am well underway with that. So drop that in the comments below and I will see you in the next Barn Automotive YouTube video.